Hello everyone, my name is Jaguar, and welcome back to another WAD video. So today I'm going to be doing another one of the underrated plane series episodes, whatever you want to call it. And this time it's going to be on the Corsair, the first Corsair. I don't know exactly what model it is because Phil decided to call it the Mark 1 to make it sound like a British Corsair. That's not even a thing though, I don't think, so I'm just gonna call it an F41A, because that's honestly what I think it is, but judging by the cockpit, I really have no idea. But it's the first Corsair, no damage model, no anything, but that doesn't mean it's powerful. So right there, you saw, I don't even know how to explain that kill right there. I only nailed like 9 shots into that guy, and he managed to just combust. I guess that's Japanese fuel tanks for you. But basically, the fundamentals of this plane are not exactly boom and zoom. And the reason I say this is because the engine it has is absolutely gigantic. I think it's an R2800, if I'm not mistaken, which is the same engine in the P487. If I'm wrong, correct me, please. But that's at least what I think later Corsair engines are, like the F4U4B and the normal F4U4. But basically, it goes very quick in a straight line, and you don't need altitude to get an advantage. You can be below your enemy and still have an advantage somewhat, just because you have more energy than, let's say, that Hiata. Well, I don't think a K84 would have more advantages or less advantages over you. But either way, it's somewhat equal. Then this plane is not. It's basically the same as the later model Corsair in WAD, just without the damage model. So it's not a bad plane at all. So basically, I don't think you should ever go above 10,000 feet or 3,000 meters around that area. I wouldn't do it. It's not, it rips, it shakes a lot, that's the thing. It has very bad compression. If you dive, or even in going in a straight line, it goes so fast that I think it's actually possible to rip in a straight line, if I'm not mistaken, like the P38 or the A26 or B26. So it's not a plane that you really need altitude for. In fact, it's more of a downfall if you go higher, just because you have to drop your throttle like I'm doing here to get onto an enemy who is lower down. I just don't think it would be beneficial to climb to 10,000 feet would be probably the max altitude I would go to. Realistically, you just want to be hanging around 5,000, 7,000 feet, or around 2,500 meters at the very most, maybe even 2,000. But as you can see here, my aim is pretty crap. But if I do manage to get my shots on target, my shots are not gonna do nothing. They will destroy a plane. So right here, I forget how to lead, because that's what happens when you play War Thunder, and you're used to laser cals, you're not used to the bullet drop. But either way, this plane is, like, as you can see here, it shoots straight up, no issue. Yeah, well, actually, that's not a thing. That's just because it's WAD and the physics aren't proper. But it's basically, it has very good energy retention. It is not going to bleed speed in big maneuvers like that. So right here, just slowly swooping down over the water, just doing my thing to try and like secure the area around the aircraft carriers. Since a lot of people like to farm those, I just hopped into a 1943 New Guinea game, and you can basically just farm the people who are trying to farm the carriers. So it's a decent aircraft carrier defender, if you want to think of it that way, because it takes off really quickly. I don't think you need, well, no, I do know you don't need flaps. and you don't really want to take off and land on runways because it's very wobbly. The power, the torque, and everything is just so much that it'll just go to like the left side or the right side of the runway if you go a bit too overkill with that rudder. So honestly, on carrier is where it belongs. It should not be used on just a normal runway. If you want to use a normal runway plane, just use anything else but the Corsair. Maybe even a Hellcat if you really wanted to, just because that doesn't have the insane power of the Corsair, so it won't throw you off the runway. Like the best way I can describe it is like an A26. If you ever tried to take off in an A26, you know how horrible it is. It will send you into a ditch. So right here, I think I see someone. Oh wait, no, I don't yet. I just want to get like a cool little feeling, like tree surfing. I don't know if you guys ever have done this, but like in Pearl Harbor, I remember a few years back, I would just go over the hills like this with my P40 and I have, my God, stroke. I would just have a lot of fun doing it. So I see a guy right there. I think it's an enemy. I'm just assuming since it's over Finschhafen. So I'm just, as you can see, I'm shaking here. And I was only in like a 5-degree dive at most. So I'm definitely going towards him, and I want to do this in one pass just because the speed that I am going, if I turn too hard, I will snap my wings. And I thought it was impossible to snap your wings until I was almost at ripping speed in the 109, and obviously rip my wings. So it is possible. So right here, just going for ground targets, and no dice. So I'm just gonna ditch that. This model of Corsair in WAD doesn't have the greatest payload, so it's basically just a pure fighter. If you take bombs with it, just quit it. Do not do that. Bringing bombs in any Corsair really is not really worth it. If you want to do ground attacking, just bring out a P47 and do it that way. Like even a P38 is pushing it just because it can't take as much damage. Like I don't like using the P47N just because I kind of think it's ugly. So I use the P47D for ground pounding and everything else. But if you really wanted to, you could just use a P47 for ground attacking. So right here, I get nailed by flak and get a nice little naval kill right there. So just gonna respawn here. But yeah, right there, unless you're trying to be on like a Japanese player, but on the American team, it is not a good ground attacker at all. So there's that guy, a Kate, and then there's a tank. And so I'm being very cautious with what I want to do here, because either way, I don't want my carrier getting blown up, but I don't want that base being taken wherever that tank is. So I'm going to try and get this Kate first, since it looks like he's closer, and then I'm going to go try and get that tank there. So right here, I'm getting a lot of people joining the room here, so I'm definitely on my toes right now, since I don't want to get everything all killed and messed up for us. So right here, I do a little bit of thing there, try to pull a Cobra maneuver or something. But yeah, I failed to realize that my gear are down, same with my flaps, because I'm just so focused on that Kate there. So right here, I just want to get a little bit of altitude. I don't want to get dove on if there's something like a KI-61 or KI-84. So right here, slowly climbing. Well, it's not that great of an angle, but if you really wanted to, you could go at like a 30-degree climb and be completely fine. So I'm just trying to see what that is there. Pretty sure that's the other Corsair. So I think I'm fine for the most part. I think that was just the Kate taking off from his aircraft carrier, now that I think of it. So I'm turning back here, just trying to look around, scope out the area. Or maybe even take out some ground targets on that ship, so that way if people want to ground attack, they're not going to get completely screwed over. So So I realized that right there is an enemy. So I want to go get him. But I'm pretty sure that I'm going to lose him here in a second, so I just dive to kill some ground targets there. So right there, just trying to get over, climb above him if I can. And let's see here. So right here, this is one mistake, going too high. You don't want to do that. Climbing in this thing is just not a great idea. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that this video, but it's a very bad idea. It rips really quickly. And it has the power to just go low altitude. It doesn't, you know, WAD doesn't have superchargers. It's not gonna benefit you in really any way. Unless you're trying to intercept like a bomber that's super high altitude, or a fighter, and you're gonna do dogfighting up there, there's really no reason. And at that rate, if you're trying to climb up for someone who's already at that altitude, just drag them low. I'm not too educated on the Corsair's history, but I'm almost positive that it was designed to be a low to mid altitude fighter, not something like a P-47 or P-38. Now, like the P-38, you can literally see the well, I don't really know what they are, but I think they're supercharger exhaust or something on the top of like the engine booms, if I'm not mistaken, like where the intakes are. So this does have a supercharger in real life, I think, and it does in War Thunder as well. But it's not. You're not going to use it too often. It's low altitude is where it is supposed to be played. So right here, I see the tank. I'm gonna see what type of tank it is, because if I can see what type it is, I might be able to strafe it with my 50 cals and maybe even destroy it. So right here, just going in, notice that I'm shaking quite a bit, and the altitude, or not the altitude, the speed gauge or the speedometer doesn't go to top speed, so I'm being very cautious, just telling by the noise. If you oh my god, I can't speak. If you start to hear rattling, then that's when you know you're going way too fast. You can be shaking all you want, but once it starts rattling, you just gotta put out some flaps or something, because most of the time that's when you're about to snap and break everything. So that Corsair, good on him, just drove up to the tank and dropped some bombs on him. So I'm just going to extend away back to our aircraft carriers to cover them, because I've noticed that everyone on our team is naval aircraft, so if they're able to land at that carrier, it'll be very beneficial to us. So right here, just flying back to the carriers, checking my map. That's another thing that you really got to do in WAD, no matter what plane you're in, even if it's a bomber. You just really want to keep awareness, not only physical, but on your map. You always want to know what's going on around you. And let's say if I did a live stream, you'd probably be able to see that I would check my map about every 20 or so seconds. That's the kind of rhythm you want to get into, especially if you see a dot or many dots. What you do is you point your nose toward one of those dots, and if you check your map and that point is pointing toward a friendly, then it's a friendly. If a friendly is off to like your left a little bit, then chances are that aircraft is an enemy. So right here, pretty sure this is an enemy. So I'm gonna go and try and get him. As you can see, I'm not going straight for him, because if I go straight for him, he's just gonna turn around and I won't be able to outturn him. So right here, I'm just trying to make it so that if he turns, well, actually, I don't know why I did that. I feel like there's some type of beneficial something to doing that. But at this rate, I don't even think there is. It's right here. I'm not going to try getting a shot on him, because I just know that I'm not going to be able to. And then right there, he just basically turns on a dime and is now on my 6. And then that's where the Corsair shines. The flat, the normal, oh my god, why am I drawing a blank on this? The level flight speed. Level flight is where the Corsair shines, just because of that huge engine. It is able to, and also I think the blades are pretty, or the props are pretty sizable as well. So you can literally just go straight, and like I said earlier, you can probably rip your wings, going in a straight line. It is very quick. So right here, diving on him, and of course the spotting system is broken because of last update, so you don't know where anyone is, and that's a good thing and a bad thing. Bad thing for me because I have no clue where anyone is. So right here, try to get some flak, and then I'm just getting out of there, and then I notice that he's on my 6 again. So I'm like, alright, time to zoom away, and then you're about to notice my one mistake here in this entire engagement. I run towards the lay with all the flak that hasn't been killed yet. Everyone was focusing on Finschaffen, so lay is just littered with a flak and just all that really fun stuff. So right here, turning as slowly as possible to keep my speed up here, and then as you can see, that's the issue there. 3 destroyers, not great. So I don't get killed immediately, so I'm quite hopeful that I'm not going to die here. So I slowly pitch up, and then bam. So I'm like, alright, GG. So I didn't want to take the risk, because in planes with a damage model, once you have a fire, you're basically dead. Resealable fuel tanks aren't a thing, so you're basically going to burn out. Now, I think planes without damage models, if you catch on fire, you can fly for however long you want to, like the P-38 or the Heinkel 111 or even the B-26. All those planes, if you have a fire in your engine, you're completely fine. So there's the review for the Corsair. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm probably going to do some more videos like this, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you later.